Okay, so we were talking about ethnography in the classroom. Okay, so well, this is part number, I don't know anymore. Okay, but let's continue. So, in the development of ethnography research, okay, we have over here this picture that is something similar to what I mentioned in the National Geographic in the late 19th centuries, this anthropology of primitive cultures, where you were supposed to go native, sorry. You were to places and observe tribes and see how everything works. Okay, then from 1920s to 1950s, we have single case of studies with emphasis on observing and interviewing. We have this picture of this group. Okay, a case study can be only a person or it can be a group, a specific group. Okay, and they might be answering sort of an interview. Okay, and then the most interesting over here is from 1950s. It says over there to 1980s, but it is still in the present, okay, in 2020. It's education ethnography, platform as tribes and subculture groups. Over here, there is something very tricky. Most of the time, when we think of culture, we think of a specific characteristics. For example, Mexican culture, Day of Dead, mariachi, very specific characteristics that define, in this case of Mexico, a nation. But when we're talking about culture, those can be very, very small groups. Okay, for example, skaters, the guys who skate, okay, they are a culture. Okay, ogotics, they are a culture. Otakus, they are a culture. LGBTQ, they are a culture. We have different different cultures, okay, small cultures. Then, some examples of ethnography in education can be how students in a particular class respond to a substitute teacher. For example, picture in your head, primary school, third year. The teacher, for some reason, could not attend, okay? And there is a substitute teacher, okay? We might see how students try to challenge the authority, okay? Like, okay, you're not my real teacher. I'm going to do whatever I want to, and I'm not going to pay attention, and I'm going to play, okay? So you might observe this. Well, and then in social interaction of a new student in the classroom, okay, now picture that you are in high school, okay, and you are observing this classroom, and there comes a new student just in the middle of the semester. So this student might struggle to be integrated in to inside. Sorry, I repeated a preposition in here. Ignore this. Okay, my struggle to be integrated in this social practice, okay, inside of these social practices. So this student might try to relate to the other students, okay. For example, wearing the same type of clothes, using the same type of words, okay, trying to be funny, trying to relate to others to be accepted, okay. And something that I have noticed about social integration is sharing food, okay. Most of the time, most of the gatherings that we human people have involve sharing food among a group of people. So if once you're trying to belong to a social group and for some reason you find yourself sharing food, okay, like a breakfast, uh, dinner, or even a candy, that means that at least at that moment you are being integrated, okay, for that period of time at least. And then we have observation of students' interaction in a second language classroom. Okay, so this is one very interesting to me. Well, I'm an English teacher, a language teacher. So if you're observing a classroom, okay, that is trying to acquire a second language, you might notice that some students go to their first language to communicate emotions. Okay, and not necessarily like just to say I'm happy or I'm sad, but to communicate, to transmit